Hi, okay, so this is chapter 2 here, talking about graphical representations, and these are very useful, and you come across them often in the newspaper when they're reporting statistics and profits, or even the stock exchange. It says here below here they can be used to track profits, expenses, product sales, many other kinds of data, and it's good to know how to read these. It's good to know how to actually construct them also. So let's take a look here. We're going to look at broken line graphs. This is just a graph that uses points joined by line segments to display data. So just scrolling down, you can see this is an example of one right here. Okay, so in the last chapter you used graphs to show the slope and the rate of change. In this section you'll learn about broken line graphs that show information by plotting values and joining them with line segments. Now these graphs typically have a title, and they have the horizontal and vertical axis labeled, and remember you need to put the independent variable on the horizontal axis and the dependent variable on the vertical axis as before. So time, for example, would almost always go on the horizontal axis, and if we scroll down, let's see what they've got. See, in this case it's month, so that is a rate, or rather a value of time, and in this case snowfall, the amount would be dependent on the particular month in question. So let's look at this example. The graph below shows the average snowfall in Regina, Saskatchewan by month, and what month has the highest average snowfall and how much fell. Well, obviously it looks like the highest value here is December, it seems. And what is the actual snowfall? Well, it's just above 20. It looks like it's 21. That's what they have as the answer down here. Part B is asking what, or during what 3 months is there no snowfall in Regina? What 3 months is there no snowfall? Okay, well, that means 0. So it looks like June, July, and August, no snow. Oh, they seem to have had a snowfall in September. So I remember when I lived in Calgary, it could be any time of year you could get snow. So yeah, I guess that's a possibility. During what month is the average snowfall approximately twice as much as the average October? What month has twice as much as October? So we have to look at October. October looks like it's about 7. That's 5, 6, 7. So we want something in the region of 14, and that's here. Well, that looks like November, possibly also February. Looks like there's 2 options there. So February is definitely at the 14 mark. This looks like it's just below, so maybe the answer is February. So, and they have February is 14. Okay, so you might want to practice one of these. It's pretty straightforward. And let's go on to the next example, number 2. Jacob owns a small appliance repair company. He tracked the company's net profits over a 10-year period. He's examining the data to see if there's a trend and decide if he can increase the salaries of his employees. So we have this data right here of the 10 years. Here's has been his profit over the years. It's steadily increasing by the looks of it. Well, maybe not steadily, but it's increasing. Graph the data on a broken line graph. Is there a general trend? If so, what is it? Are there any exceptions to the trend? Okay, so once we graph these, we can have a look at the trend. Okay, so we can see overall there is a trend. It seems to be increasing. There is an exception. In the year 2007 it went down, but then rose quite dramatically the next year. We can probably see that in the data in the table. 2007 it went from 42 to 20 and back up to 58. So that makes sense. Okay. So let's not do these. I do these in class rather than don't do them as you watch the video, because you'll need to draw graphs, etc. And we'll go on to new skills, discussing trends and estimating values. Broken line graph may help you discover a regular pattern in the data. It may also show you a general increasing or decreasing trend, which can allow you to interpolate or extrapolate a value. So remember what that means from last year. Interpolating means to estimate a value between two values shown on the graph. Inter, between 2 points, any 2 points. Extrapolating means to predict a value beyond the given data, usually somewhere up in this region here, or depending on if it makes sense, might be in this territory down here also. Okay, so the following graph shows the growth rate of a bean plant that David planted in his vegetable garden. David forgot to record the height of the bean plant in week 4, so we see there's no data point there. Use the graph to interpolate the height of the plant that week. So, use the graph to interpolate the height of the plant that week. So here is week 4, and we would just maybe quickly figure out what that value was right there. And for week 4, it looks like the height was about, looks like about 22 or so, about there. Okay, and then it's asking, what might the height of the plant be in week 12? So week 12. Okay, so let's look at week 12. Well, that's off the graph, so that's extrapolating. Now, we use our common sense. We'd think, what's been happening in the weeks leading up to week 12? It looks like the height sort of tailed off here. So in week 12, the question is, does it continue this trend, over here, or does it maybe rise slightly more? That's the question. Well, probably it's going to be somewhere in this region here. We could actually say maybe it got to a height of 40 in week 12. That wouldn't be unreasonable. Okay. Part C down here says, write a statement describing trends in the beans plant growth rate from week 0 to week 11. Trends. Well, what's the trend? Well, there's a couple of trends, I guess. This is quite a growth spurt here. And then it's kind of a lagged off a little bit, not quite as strong a growth, and then it seemed to have leveled off. So there's sort of 3 regions, I would say. 1 here to week 5, and then from week 5 to week 9, and then from week 9 to week 11 seems to really be slowed down. Okay, well, let's see what they say here below. Yep, 22 was the answer for part A, for the week that was missing. And then part B, the plant's growth seems to have slowed or stopped in weeks 9 to 11, so it might stay at 39 in week 12, or it might get to 40, which I suggested. And then part C, the plant grew at a fairly steady rate for the first 2 weeks, and had a rapid growth from week 2 to 5, so they're putting it in a bit more detail. And then the growth was fairly steady until week 9, when it seemed to stop growing. Alright. Build your skills, and since they give you the graph, you may want to try number 7 there. Example 4. Brett is a real estate agent and is comparing the average listed price for houses in Vancouver to those in Regina. So he's a real estate agent comparing the average listed price for houses in Vancouver to those in Regina from 2006 to 2010. So we can compare these, and we can see that the house prices in Regina really haven't increased that much, but they have in Vancouver, at least by about 100,000 or so. Oh, I guess they have increased by about the same amount also in Regina too. House prices are worth a lot more in Vancouver, obviously. Display the information on a broken line graph. What conclusions can you draw from the table about the house prices in the two cities? What can you tell from the graph now that you have a graph rather than a table? So drawing the graph, we see here's the Vancouver prices, here's the Regina, prices in Regina, yes, and you can see that they seem to both increase in this period. Regina seemed to increase a little bit more during the first 2 years and then just leveled completely off. Vancouver, on the other hand, seemed to be increasing in the last 2 years, last 3 years there. So you can see that there's trends going on. You can see there's a bit of a difference there between the two lines. Okay, so let's see what else. Any more? Okay, example 5 here. I think we'll leave that till the next lesson. And so what I'd want you to do is in class is to be trying these build your skills questions. You might want to try 1 or 2 as you pause the video, and then we'll start the next lesson here on page 72.